This is my entry for this week's DreamSnap, Roses and Thorns. Now I knew I wanted to do a split shot, as it felt like the perfect theme for it. With split shots, you kind of want each side to have their own vibe and coloring. They don't have to be drastically different, but they have to be distinct. For Aurora's side, I tried to stick to a garden naturey vibe with pink to match her dress. For Maleficent, I tried to go for thorns and a general spooky vibe with purple for her color. I really didn't want the blue and purple grass on Aurora's side, so I covered it with the leaf-strewn pathing. I liked that it had some texture to it, and thought that once I added some trees and bushes to it, it would feel more garden-y. I really liked how the root arches added a twisted root and thorn vibe that went really well with Maleficent's side. I debated what color trees to go with for Aurora, since the yellow and orange ones matched the pathing I put down, but I really wanted to make it look greener and lush, so I hoped with enough green trees and bushes it would look natural rather than out of place, and figured I could change them later if I needed to. Plus the green did match the bushes on the house. I loved the idea of putting a river between the two sides, and linking them by a bridge where I put my character, Maleficent and Aurora. I tried putting the stone slab path, a craftable from Eternity Isle, as the flooring for a stone bridge. I had a really hard time picking a fence for the rail of the bridge. None of them felt right, and they all felt too big and blocking. I kept the pale wood fence for a while, as it felt the best, but I do come back to it later and debate about it more. For the river kit, I recommend finding your center and building out equally on both sides, before building your framework for the rest of it. And no, there's absolutely no reason why I'm mentioning this. You definitely cannot tell by looking at the center line on the pathing that something may or may not be off-center. Anyway, one of the reasons why I wanted to do a split shot for this challenge is because typically when there's a challenge like this, like Fire and Water and Chill Summer, for example, where they ask you to mix opposites together, I usually get left going, huh? I do end up coming up with something that I'm happy with, but then I see all these amazing split shots that others have done that make me wish I had done something like that, and I tell myself I'm going to do something like that next time. Well, I actually remembered this time. So, I knew I had to do a split shot this time. And yep, center your river kit items first. At least once the outline is in place, it's a lot easier and faster to fill in the middle. Now that the river kit is mostly in, the bridge was feeling too narrow, so I widened it a bit. I wasn't sure how much river I needed for the other side of the bridge, but I gave it about 4 squares to be safe. Back to the railing. I like the toning of the ancient bamboo fence, but didn't think the style fit the look I was going for, so I put it back. I really like those water lilies and tried to keep them closer to Aurora's side for the garden vibe. Throwing down some purple bushes on Maleficent's side. I know they don't really fit the spooky vibe I was originally going for, but they're purple and I thought they looked nice. I thought those thorn vines fit perfectly on Maleficent's side, especially with the thorn in the title of the challenge. I find if a specific theme, color, or character is mentioned in the DreamSnap title or description, it's usually a good idea to use them in your design. It's not always necessary, but I feel like it helps. I really wanted to put some grass down on the pathing, but they wouldn't let me, so I threw some more bushes down. I'm not sure the windmill makes complete sense there, but I thought it looked nice. I really wish they let you put more things on the pathing. I don't get why some things can and others can't. I really had to finagle things to get the trees and flowers in and not show a lot of the blue and purple grass. Adding some of the dead-looking trees, twig bushes, and some more vine thorns to help fill in Maleficent's side. They don't have to mirror each other, but I want to keep them feeling balanced. Trying to get an idea of how it's feeling so far. I think it's coming along nicely, but I feel like I need to put some pathing in front of the house on Aurora's side. So I end up putting the garden path stones down, leading to the bridge. Then try to put some path down on Maleficent's side in front of that house, and quickly realize that those thorn vines that fit perfectly over there don't like pathing. So try to move some stuff around to get it to at least sort of look like a pathway. I really wanted to use that Well of Souls. I thought it added to the spooky vibe, and fit Maleficent since her flames are green. I tried to get another one in there, but it didn't fit, so I added some more candles. Getting another look to make sure it still feels balanced, and see what feels off or missing. The railing is still bothering me, so I tried to split it, and add to the split shot feel. I liked the metal spike fence, so I tried it. The thick post worried me, but you could see through the rest of it, so I hoped it would work out. Adding some critter houses. I was really hoping to catch a dragon, raven, bird, or rabbit in the shot, preferably more than one, but I wasn't counting on it. Testing out to see how the shot feels, and the metal fence is too blocking. Back to the other one. Since Maleficent volunteered, it's time to gather the needed villagers, locking them in with mini pictures since they are short enough to not be seen. I also grabbed Hades since his animation attracts the attention of nearby villagers, so he would be helpful to get them to look towards the camera. Jack also does the same type of thing, but Hades was in the area. Debating different poses, I had originally wanted to make it look like my character had her arms around Maleficent and Aurora, so I tried the dragon pose, but I didn't like that my character kept looking up. And Merida decided to photobomb, and didn't want to leave. Thankfully, I was still testing poses, so it didn't matter. I liked that with Nana's pose, my character wasn't looking up at the sky anymore, and still had her arms out. But the characters are feeling a bit blocked, so back to figuring out the railing. I decided to try using some small plaza rocks to give the bridge a border without blocking anything. I flipped some of them around to help them feel less copy-pasted. Dropping some items for more detailing. And the rose, the main thing I wanted to add to Aurora's side, can't go on pathing. So I end up struggling with them to get them to fit and not have the grass showing. Grabbing some moss and other items to fill in some empty spots and add more color. And more flowers don't go on pathing. Switching to Maleficent's side, adding a broken sword and some bones to add to the spookiness. Adding some candles and glimmer to add some sparkle to both sides. And more flowers that don't go on pathing. Back to the moss that is cooperating with me. Trying to scatter some things around so they aren't too bunched up or repeated. Testing out the shot again. Trying to decide if I want to be in front or behind the other characters. For the original idea, to have my character's arm around them, I would have to be behind, but Maleficent's staff keeps crossing in front of my character, so it feels a bit blocking. And hello, Merida. and trying to make it work with my character behind. And hello again. I really should have blocked the area off. I'm not sure why I didn't. Decided to add some bubbles. I really wanted to put a rose in one of the bigger ones, but wasn't sure what to put in the other. I put a lantern in one behind my character to see if that would frame her with light. Adding some glimmer, and I really wanted to put that pink pile of petals down, but couldn't get it to fit anywhere. Back to adding glimmer and candles. I tried to make that rainbow work, but it didn't feel right for the shot. Adding some fireflies for more sparkles. I wanted to see if those glowy flowers would work, since they are the right coloring for Aurora's side. Couldn't figure out what to put in the other bubble, so I got rid of it. And this would be your reminder to exit furniture mode at least every half hour, or it might not save what you did. I know I hadn't been in there that long, but something weird happened, and it didn't save everything I did. Re-adding some candles and glimmer. Testing out how it works. Maleficent is feeling too close, so I moved her over a little. Testing the look again. Hello, Peter. Maleficent is feeling more balanced with Aurora's positioning now. Welcome back, Merida. I highly recommend blocking off your area. Testing out the shot now that they are gone. And not really feeling the light behind my character, so I get rid of it. And try those glowy flowers the game decided to get rid of before I could see how they looked. And they are too blocked back there to see them, so I move them. And nope, the game was right to get rid of them. They don't work. So I replace them with more water lilies. Getting the shot ready, zooming out to get Hades to do his animation. I feel like he is more likely to do his animation when he is in camera frame. Now, I did spend about 2 hours scooting things around, but ended up not liking it and came back to it the next day, and rearranging again. The only things I kept from that I had added were those lights. Green for Maleficent, and red, though they look pink, for Aurora. I really liked how they framed the characters with their colors. I find that the craftable lampposts and wrought iron street lamps are some of the better lights for giving a nice glow in a shot. So the main things that I knew I wanted to change were moving the houses back and the bridge forward, to get more room between them, and narrowing the river I had made. I felt like it was taking up too much room, and I wanted to be able to add more decorations and details. At least it's easier to scoot things together than having to figure out which pieces go together. Adjusting the water lilies, since I had to get rid of all the bigger ones. I wanted to make sure the smaller ones were where you could see them. I also decided to get rid of the bridge pathing, and replace it with each side's look to help the split shot feel. I also got rid of the bridge border and replaced it with the actual river kit edges. I thought it fit the look better now that I didn't have the bridge flooring, and I was never happy with the rail anyway. Trying to make sure the houses are mostly even with each other. And bringing those stone paths back to the house on Aurora's side. Filling in some more trees and bushes, and trying to use the Tangle's ombre bush from Eternity Isle to cover up some of the grass and add more green to the look. I really wanted to put a rose in the foreground, but I couldn't get it to work. Trying out the rocky terrain path on Maleficent's side to help mirror Aurora's, and hide the weirdness the pathing has to take because of those vine thorns. I love those vine things for this build, but man did they annoy me every time I had to adjust that path. Trying to make sure everything's still feeling balanced. adding the fuchsia sprite flower from Storybook Vale to Maleficent's side. Again, it's not very spooky, but it's purple, and I like that it matched the beanstalk flowers. Moving some stuff around and trying to get more of those vine thorns in, but they take up too much room, and don't want to fit anywhere I want to put them. I tried putting one in the foreground with a flower bush on the other side to balance, but I really wanted to add more roses, so I switched the bush out. Adding more ombre bushes to cover the edges of the grass, trying to get more roses in there, but it's too blocked. Adding more moss as it is small and willing to go where I want. Also, too many bushes, and that spot would be behind my character anyway. Adding back the edges to the lower river, since the grass keeps poking up. And I'm worried the camera won't be able to go close enough to hide it. Adding some magnolia petals around. So glad they can intersect with things. It's nice to be able to just scatter them around and have most things not complain. I remembered to exit furniture mode this time. Adding a bunch of fireflies since the game got rid of them on me last time, and I finally remembered to add them again. Moving my root tree back. I can't fit the bigger one anymore, but you couldn't see much of it anyway. Still trying to get that rose to work, but it's not, so I moved it to the back and hoped it would be seeable there. Shifting some things around. Trying to get more roses in. Added some more water back to the foreground. And put some water lilies there, to get the flower vibe since I can't get the rose to work. Testing out how it looks and realizing the thorn is leaving a gap in the edge of the water, so I have to remove it. Testing again, no gaps, but the foreground is feeling empty, and you can barely see the water lilies. So I moved them over. Shifting some stuff around. I really struggled with finding the right placement for those bubbles in the foreground. It felt like I may have moved the water lilies too far over, so I scooted them back a little. Testing again. Water lilies are feeling better. Hello, Flynn. Testing the look while I hope Flynn leaves on his own. Moving some stuff around, trying to get more thorns in, but they don't like being too close to anything else. Narrowing the path a little. I didn't like how much it was sticking out from under the stones. Adding some more of the stick bushes. Checking to see how much is seeable when in camera mode. And hello, Merida. Pulling both of them out using camera mode. And blocking off the area to stop them from getting back in. Checking the shot again now that the intruders are gone. Moving the thorn over since you can't really see it, and adding some petals in hope of flattening some of the grass, so it won't show in the shot. The thorn is in a better spot now, but you can't really see the green bush I added to the other side, so I try to move it, but the stone path isn't happy about sharing. So I have to scoot some things around. Checking to see if it helped. And how did you get back in here? Got rid of her again. I'm pretty happy with how it looks, but I want to try a different stone path from Maleficent's side. I thought the broken cobblestone path, a craftable from Storybook Vale, might match the less uniform style of the path on Aurora's side. I also wanted to add some of the twisted-looking trees in the back to help fill in the sky a little better. Moving around a few more sparkles, petals, and moss. Adding a flower bush and purple bush to the foreground corners. I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to Maleficent's side, and wanted to use a button to hide under something, but I forgot to grab one, and didn't want to reset everyone. Thankfully, I had a few marshmallows I could use and hide behind something. Trapping the green dragon with some touch of magic so I can catch him in the shot. Testing the look. And apparently Merida found someone else to bother, and Hades is now distracted. I don't know if you know about this glitch, but if you put down a table, you can put some chandeliers on them, and they will light up nearby objects. And I wanted to try and light up the thorn, so it would be more seeable. The table doesn't have to be as big as the one I grabbed. I just grabbed one of the first ones I saw. How did you get in here? Got rid of her again. Getting Hades to do his thing. I'm really happy with how it came out. And for those who are curious, this build took me over 6 hours. It didn't help that I redesigned it twice, but I love how it came out, so it was worth it. Thank you for watching. Please like the video if you found it at all helpful, and subscribe if you want to see more like this.